Hello foam warriors, I'm DrFlux, and today we're checking out the Blazestorm Deploy. Let's jump right in. So the Blazestorm Deploy, as I'm calling it, because they don't name these things, I guess it would be more accurate to call this thing the Secret Shot. Rebelle released a line of these type of little purse blasters that basically deploy out to be a sweet little compact blaster. This is basically a knockoff of that. It is kind of neat to see this in a different shell, being that the last one was a purse. The furniture on this is just atrocious. This little nubbin here, it is practical, it does work, but it gives you very little real estate to hold this thing. And of course, the priming handle is also extremely small. These handles really remind me of like a Busby type of handle, to be honest, but I know they're trying to keep it compact, and this is a design like straight from the Rebelle Secret Shot. This thing seems to be very similar as far as I put them side by side, and as you can see, they look very similar. So included in the box is the blaster and 10 darts, 10 of which are your suction darts, and the other 10 are just your standard elite. Now, I would like to note that I tried testing with other darts, and I did find that the deploy feature was not functioning well if you put other darts in here. They had a tendency to get stuck on the outer darts. But with the included darts, I didn't have any problem. This blaster's gimmick is pretty cool. I'm not sure how practical it is in a war. I have seen various people have made this into a medic case, which is pretty cool. Then you could actually attach some type of gameplay element to this. Or even a mechanic for a turret or something. This could be a toolbox. I mean, there's many things you could do in a war to incorporate this type of thing. So, it is clever. I like to see kind of gimmicky things like this. Now, I chronographed this blaster and was getting kind of some interesting results. This is a smart AR system, and it appears that the first shot fired out of this smart AR hits pretty much 10 FPS harder. I was getting, I actually got a 60 FPS off the top one. And then I would get 50s, 55s. But as I cycled through the rest of the AR, it would drop down to 40, 45, and I think I even got 30 on this bottom one. It's just kind of weird how these Blazestorm ARs are inconsistent. I even went, as I was shooting at the range, which as you can see here, accuracy was pretty poor. Especially with these elite style darts, they just don't perform really well. But I did notice that the bottom darts, even after the first dart is fired, the other ones, that power behind the darts was not enough to really throw it down range. And to tell you the truth, at like 30 feet, this thing was not too great. However, the first dart fired was okay. So it's kind of hard when you fire a Nerf blaster and you don't have consistent fire. So when you miss a target and you attempt to fire again, your mind is trying to lead the target according to how your last shot was fired. And when you have inconsistencies in your AR, it makes it very difficult to hit a target. So that's the problem with this one. So what I was doing was actually feeding in one dart at a time to the top, and then firing. And that first shot was good, and I just kept using that one shot. So I was treating this like a single shot. So overall though, this thing was pretty cheap. I don't know what kind of future plans I have for this. Like I mentioned earlier, if there's some mechanic in a war that we would need to use something like this, I'd probably revisit this. But as it stands right now, it's kind of a mediocre in performance. It's just got the gimmick of the deployable feature. But for the most part, it is somewhat reliable. I could see this being somewhat used in like an HVZ. I don't think it would be used well in a war just because of the lack of range. And the problem with this is it takes up the size of a primary blaster when it's fully deployed, but it does not deliver the hits as a blaster this size should. And even, and the other thing too is, I was thinking, how would you store this? I mean, this doesn't really store well in your gear. That's a big pocket. That's a lot of real estate for something that doesn't perform as well as it should. So it basically gets thrown on the bench as being a gimmicky blaster. Kind of cool, kind of fun. Could be used as something else in the future. I don't know if it's worth taking apart and putting a new spring in there. Obviously, you could probably easily paint this thing, but would I recommend this blaster? Does this interest you? Do you have a plan of something you want to do in your local wars with this? If the answer is yes, then go ahead and pick it up. But as far as, trying to recommend people to go out and grab one of these, nah. Well, that pretty much wraps up this review. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this. Let me know what kind of application this can have. Maybe there's a game mode that I'm not thinking of that this would be really cool in. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can see when I make new content. And let me give a special thanks to my new Patreons. With your support, this channel can continue to make content, so thank you. And as always, happy nerfing.